He's humble. He's lifted the Lombardi. He's earned the gold jacket. Now he's laser focused on a championship for the faithful. Here's the 49ers president of football operations and general manager, John Lynch, with Murph and Markus on the Sports Leader.
All right, John Lynch calling in, the president of football operations and general manager of the San Francisco 49ers, who will start their season Sunday, September 7th at Seattle. But first, a final preseason tune-up Saturday against the Chargers. We'll see who plays in this one, and a trade made. So a lot to get to. So first and foremost, John, great having you back with Murph and Markus on the UMA guest line. How are you, man?
Hey, morning, John.
I'm doing great. It's we're getting closer to this thing really counting, and we're really excited. And a lot of the stuff that goes on this time of year, you start to really put the pieces together as to what your roster is going to look like and the best combination. And a lot of that, the great thing is there's one more preseason game. There's a practice today for evaluation. So the evaluation never stops, and looking forward to seeing what the final product, and even then, the final product is never the final product. It's always fluid. So, but appreciate the way the guys are working and starting to like our team.
All right, you made a trade. Take us through your motivation for the trade, and take us through your conversations with Kansas City and why you picked Skyy Moore.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I always like giving recognition and a shout out to, the guys in our pro department. That's what they do. It's what their job is, to know the entire league and to look at other teams, to have discussions with their counterparts at other teams and say, hey, who might be available, who, you guys thinking of doing anything, and those type of things. And then it leads to a conversation. Brett Veach and I have a good relationship, and probably talked for the first time a couple days ago, started talking about this, and it came to fruition yesterday. And I think the bottom line, Skyy's a talented guy who probably, a change in environment was needed, and we get a chance to do it this early. What I like about it, it gives us an opportunity to evaluate him here before the season. And very talented young man, was a second-round pick in the 22 draft. Probably has fallen short of the expectations they had for him, but he brings a lot of value in terms of he's a dual returner, meaning he can do punt return and kickoff return. With Jacob Cowing out, that became valuable and important to us. And then we really believe there's a lot of talent, and sometimes talent, in one spot, expectations of being a second-round pick and not living up to it, and the scrutiny can sometimes a change of scenery is just a needed thing. And from all accounts, he's a great kid. I remember during the process, the draft process, we really liked him. So we're excited. He's en route here. He's got to pass his physical for the trade to go through. Never like talking about it like it's a certainty, but we are excited, if everything goes well, to add him to the mix.
Is it possible that we could see him on the field this weekend against the Chargers?
Yeah, provided that physical goes well. He gets out here. I always appreciate the way our coaches go to work with these guys, and kind of a crash course. And you give them enough that they know, and they can go run a package of plays. And then as a returner, hey, just go catch the ball and do your thing, and go right or go middle, or, that's pretty easy. Yes, there's nuance to it, but a lot easier on special teams. So I think, the good thing with Skyy is he's been in a camp. He just played last week. Had a fantastic return, punt return for a touchdown and against the Seahawks. And so it's not like he's not in shape. He's ready, and we'll make sure he's right, but we'll get him in a good place, and we'll make that decision.
So trading for receivers, obviously a position of need. How would you evaluate the need right now? How bad is it in your receiver room?
Well, we like our players. We like our group of guys. It's just who's available right now. That's not great. And so it's, we always, receivers, it's always a tough room. The guys do a ton of running, a ton of deceleration. We call it snapping down. It's tough on their bodies. We try to account for that. We started knowing with Aiyuk, being on PUP, we started with 13 guys, and now we're down to, at one point yesterday, I think we had 7 out there. So there's always attrition there, and you're always weighing that. How do we best take care of those guys? But we need to get better, and we've got a young group on our team, and we've made a decision. Like Kyle and I, we often talk. You never stay the same. You're getting better. You're getting worse. We choose to get better, and to get better, you got to work. Kansas City, where Skyy's from, Andy Reid, Brett Veach and I were talking about this yesterday. They just got hit with a rash, but if you look at it over the last 5 years, they've probably been the healthiest team in football. A lot of people say Andy Reid has the toughest training camp. So, you're always looking for that right mix of work. There is a way to keep guys healthy, and that's to do nothing, but we want to get better. And so, we evaluate everything, but it's where we're at right now. And, we'll have enough guys come week 1 to put a formidable group out there, and then we'll get some guys back throughout the course of the season, and we'll be okay there.
Yeah, and one of those guys could be Brandon Aiyuk. I know that the original timeline for him was right around week 6, but John, can you provide us any updates on his current recovery process?
Brandon's done a really good job. I've talked, throughout the process. He had a lot that went on during that injury. Again, we keep talking on the Chiefs, but I think a lot of people remember that hit, and it was vicious, and you could see like, oh no, we might be in trouble, and sure enough, we were. So he's recovered well. I think we feel comfortable saying he's not going to be there week 1, and then probably be some time after that. I'm not going to put exact timelines, but hopefully sometime in this season he's playing the type of football we know when he's out there that he is expected to and expects himself to play at. And it'll be a big boost to our team.
For sure. We're talking to John Lynch, and of course we look forward to these conversations all season long. 49ers Chargers Saturday at 5:30 finale, and then of course Sunday, September 7th at Seattle. They made a trade. They traded for Skyy, receiver from Kansas City. And one of the needs that you have is Jauan Jennings. He's out. Is this a message to Jauan that you guys can have a body without him? And I guess that's a way of asking how much of his absence is his calf and how much is a contract play.
Yeah, no messages. We like the player Skyy. I just talked about that. We love Jauan, and we're getting close to this season. Players got to practice, but if they're not healthy enough to do it, they can't. So it's kind of where we're at with Jauan right now. But Jauan, we're getting there where we got to get out there on that field, and we'll continue to let that thing unfold.
Would you say there's a level of frustration from you on this?
No. Like I said, Jauan's a big part of this team, and we're looking forward to the time when he's back out there again, and hopefully that's soon.
John, staying in the wide receiver room, what can you tell us about the DeMarcus Robinson suspension?
Just that there's an appeal process going on. We'll be respectful of that, and when the league makes their final determination, everybody will know right along with us. So I think we're at that stage of it, and you guys will know when we will know.
All right, we're talking to John Lynch here. It's receiver. Is there new news on Russell Gage too? Adam Schefter reported that he has a ligament strain that might keep him out 7 to 10 days. That's accurate?
Yeah, but that's one of those ones. We were out at practice. We were doing one-on-ones, and at first I thought he had his ankle. It looked like he buckled. So I think, given what I saw on the field, Russell's been having a really good camp, and I think given I was standing with Kyle right when it happened, and we just said, oh no, because it looked like his leg buckled, and so I think a slight MCL sprain was actually welcome news. So he will miss some time. We expect him to be ready for our opener, and I think that was somewhat, it's not ideal, but it's better than the alternative with what we saw. So but he is working through that.
John, with all these question marks in the wide receiver room, it leads to the question about whether or not you guys will continue to add bodies after making this trade for Skyy. Would it be safe to say that you guys are still active in the trade market for a wide receiver?
Well, there's still, our cut-down day is Tuesday of next week. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of time for guys within our building right now to show who they are. There's a lot of time for us to evaluate the rest of the league, and we're going to put the best group out there, and we're going to be really excited about the group that we ultimately have out there. I think one thing to note, while a lot of teams live in what we call 11 personnel, 3 wides, we're a team that's often in 21, which is the formation the personnel group you all see with Kyle Juszczyk, 2 receivers, tight end, 2 backs, and then also 12. We added Luke Farrell, so Kittle and Farrell, 2 receivers. So, we do have some flexibility and ability to go put really, talented players out there in a variety of ways, and that's one of the beauties of the offense that Kyle Shanahan employs.
John, as we continue to make this the receiver show, Robbie Chosen is kind of hanging around. He's caught balls in an NFL game at a high level, and how would you assess his chances to make the club?
Robbie's done a nice job. Been a welcome surprise. He can still get it. He can still run. I mean, he puts, the beauty today. We never had it, but like these guys wear GPS things on their back, and after every practice, and he'll clock some of the highest speeds we have out here. Robbie, he can still go, and he's starting to make some plays. We all saw it at the end of the Raiders game, but we see it out here at practice. And so as long as he continues to do that, there's a place for him. And, we got to see how the room shakes out. But Robbie's done a nice job for us, and I'm very appreciative of the effort he's putting forth. He's played in our league at a high level, and it'd be a nice redemption story if it does come back around.
Sort of wrapping up the I don't know if Markus has another receiver question. I'm sort of done with receiver questions, but I guess in wrapping it up, would you label, like if you had to, like when you have your staff together, say, guys, we have a blank in the receiver room. Is it a crisis? Is it so far as to call it a crisis, John?
No, I think like opportunity. I mean, it's not. Is it what we'd want? No, we'd like all these guys back there. But like I said, we're going to put a good group out there to start the year, and then we'll start getting guys back, and it will just be kind of like, a little blessing each week. Now we got to keep the guys who we have healthy. We got to find a way to get from here to there, but that's what our calling is. That's what our job is. So we'll do it, and we'll figure out a way, and we're going to be all right.
John, I'll move into the trenches a little bit closer to the ball and ask you about the offensive line. We also saw Dominic Pooney get rolled up in Las Vegas. Just what's his status, and how do you feel about the depth behind him in case he is not ready to go week 1?
Yeah, so, Dom is such a stalwart for us, just a solid player that we plugged and played last year. A really tough kid, too. And so he's not used to not being out there. Had a little bit of a knee injury in that game. He's working hard to try to get back for week 1. We'll see whether that comes to fruition. If not, some young guys will get an opportunity. I think Connor Colby, Nick Zakelj, a number of guys there that may get that opportunity, and that's great for them. At the other guard, Ben Barch is nearing return here soon. So, we like the group that we're going to put out there. Pooney obviously makes us a lot better. He's a really good player, but we're going to get him right before he's back out there on that field. But he's gunning. He's doing everything possible to be ready for that Seattle week 1.
All right, John, finally some good news. Jake Moody, come on now. You guys stood by your man. You went to Tammy Wynette or Loretta Lynn. Who is it? Stand by. I forget it. What is that? Loretta Lynn, Tammy Wynette? I always confuse those two. But anyway, you stood by him amid the firestorm, and he then delivered that very memorable preseason game. Now the cynical take is, it's just preseason. The positive take is, man, any positive experience is huge for this guy's confidence and the way the team reacted. Can you take us inside the locker room? Like he made a speech and all that, and just your view of what happened and how you feel about sticking by him.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it really was. I sometimes in the sideline, I'll venture down to the sideline early. It's nice to kind of feel the team and see things from a different perspective. And a lot of the starters were out, had their pads off. And Kyle Juszczyk came to me in the fourth quarter, and he go, "Wouldn't it be perfect, for Moody to have a walk-off?" At that point, we thought it might be a walk-off tie, kind of not eventful, but that's NFL preseason football. Juice called his shot, and he got it. And we thought, wow, that's really cool for him and his confidence, and a great thing. And then it got even better when Mahoney picked off that ball, and Chase Lucas tackled him for some reason instead of letting him run. And it became a 59-yard field goal. And such a cool moment. It's preseason football, but, man, our team was into it. The Raiders were into it. And he nails a 59-yarder and did so with some room to spare. And but the reaction of our team, I think it tells you those guys believe in Jake Moody. And, the guy's been through it a little bit. And last year was a rough, but he's done a great job of moving forward. I think, we had Greg Joseph in here, and because of injuries, a lot of people said there was no competition. There actually was a great competition, and I thought it made Jake Moody better. And we're very grateful to Greg Joseph for that. But Jake was solid, and he's had a really, really good camp. He missed, and, the one miss in that game was a 53-yarder. 53-yarders are hard to make. He expects himself to make it, but what did he do? He came back and made a number of kicks after that. I think it's huge for his confidence. I think it's huge for our team, and it was a really cool moment to see our team rally around their guy. And, one of the fun preseason memories that I've had.
Yeah, John, you're absolutely right. It was a great reaction by the team, but also a great reaction by the crowd. Now, I was in the stadium too, and I saw a lot of 49er faithful in the building. But, John, it's a preseason game, and it still seems like there's a bit of the Raiders and 49ers rivalry still alive.
It was pretty good. The Raider fans are passionate, and just being around Vegas, for a couple days, which, by the way, it's cool for a couple days, and then, get me out of here. I want to go home.
36 hours, John. 36 hours. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the passion. We had great work with the Raiders. Pete Carroll. It's crazy to me. He's, I think, 73 years old. He had never done a joint practice in his whole career. He just didn't do them in Seattle. So it was neat. And, we had this Where's Waldo going on the film, because you're turning on the film and you see it in person, but Pete runs all over the field. And on one play, he'll be on field one in the back behind where I stand, back behind the safeties. The next play, it's not continuous film. And he's on the other field talking to Kyle Shanahan. And you're like, how is this guy his energy is unbelievable. So that was fun in and of itself, but we had really good work against them. And then the game was the same way. It was a good feel for a preseason game, good competition. We each got better from it.
Do you agree 36 hours Vegas? That's the rule, right?
Yeah, I can't take. I might be more of a 48-hour guy.
Okay. Well, 48's more. So yeah, I'm going 36. Yeah. I'm going less.
Yeah.
You come into me like you come in. Yeah, there's a way to do it, but yeah, anything over north of 48, we're entering the danger zone, John. By the way, Markus was there for, I think, 72 to 96.
Yeah, a little bit too long, John.
So
I think Markus is more of a weak guy there, right?
Yeah. Well, he's one of those quote-unquote, he knows the Raider Nation pretty well. Hey, last couple things. One, when are we, I'll meet you at SFO. We're flying to Dublin, Aviva Stadium. College football starts in Dublin this weekend, John. I'll buy the first round. Let's go.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm interested to watch what's going on in Hawaii, Stanford football.
That was my follow-up there. It was going to be Stanford. Andrew Luck's going to be doing weekly hits on KNBR. How about that?
That's awesome. I'm so energized by this guy and what he's doing for Stanford football. I talked to him the other day, and it's so weird, but so much of college football these days is fundraising, and it's been rough. It's been a rough patch. I think we can all agree for Stanford football, and it'd be so nice to see Stanford and Cal to get back in the mix. And I went to an event here recently for a Women's Coaching Alliance. Commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, and his wife were out, and it was a really cool panel with Andrew and Ron. These guys, they're tremendous for college football. They're tremendous for this area. But I'm fired up. I think Andrew's given hope to Stanford again. He's passionate about it. He's not just doing this. He is into it. I asked him the other day, because fundraising is such a big component, how's it going? And he said, John, there's some cool stuff on the horizon. So I'm fired up, and I don't know if this year will be the year Frank Reich is coming out here to help him out, but I am energized by where Stanford football is going.
Beat the Rainbows, man! Come on, Saturday afternoon on our airwaves, I believe. Here it's going to be on 1050. You can hear that. So. But John, we're going to have Ron Rivera weekly, Riverboat Ron, so it is amazing. what you said, Ron and Andrew, Rivera and Luck have like sort of agreed to sort of join forces to raise the profile of college football in the Bay Area in this tough environment. They're finding strength in numbers. But I got to say, I'm ultimately suspicious. The lion is lying down with the lamb here. I don't know, man. Who's going to stab who in the back first is my question.
Yeah, at this event, they do have good jabs. I mean, they keep the rivalry alive, but then they talk about, hey, let's bring college football back to this area. It's such a proud tradition, and I think at the end of the day, I take off that blue shirt. Still comes in my head every now and then, but some Cal people are good people too. We can coexist.
Kind of, yeah. But no, you're right. In the new environment, they are smartly forming an alliance there. And then finally, last one is.
I think the Cal people are asking everyone how. We got to check this Lynch guy. 48 is more than 36, not less.
There you go.
Just realize that.
Well, maybe you're more of a 24 guy, is what you are. Maybe
that's 24. I think that's what it was in my head.
Yeah. Last one is
roster spots, not hours in Vegas.
That's right. I know. Will you say hi to Trey Lance this weekend?
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of Trey. Was class throughout, and. I'm really excited what's going on for him down with the Chargers. It seems like a new environment has spurred a great opportunity for him, and he's making the most of it. So, huge fan of Trey, his family. Hopefully we get a chance to see them all and pulling for him always.
Yeah, and then last question for me, John, just looking ahead to its last preseason game. There's been a lot of talk about maybe shortening the preseason. People focus on game 2 as the most important game. But when you are looking at the overall evaluation process, how big of a factor does Game 3 play for you, and who are some names that maybe 49er fans should be looking out for this weekend?
Yeah, so, the back end of the roster, and when I say back end, every roster spot is so important, and we really believe that it extends beyond the 53. We now have 16, really 17, because every team's allowed an international player, so you're allowed 17 practice squad players, so everyone's fighting for those spots, and Kyle talked about it the other day. Not sure how much we're going to play our starting group, but there's going to be a bunch of young guys on this team this year, so much opportunity. I'm not going to get into names because everyone it's important for. Anyone who's out there, they're fighting for their opportunity here or somewhere else, and I think it's a really cool thing, and looking forward to being in Levi's again. Good to be home, and then, like I said, we're really close to the start of a new season. I'm excited. I'm jacked up about our team, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and of course Harbaugh too. Maybe he has an interest in Stanford. I don't know. He'll be here. So it's gonna be kind of fun just to see him back at Levi's too. So, all right. Well, listen, John, and by the way, we figured it out. It was Tammy Wynette, Young Tone. Here we go. This would be a good. It's good karaoke. Don't you think, John? Stand by your man.
This is Stand by your man, huh?
Do you know this, Markus?
Absolutely not.
Markus, I work with these kids, John.
I don't know this song, John.
I work with these kids.
Come on, Markus.
Come on, man. John, you'll go country, won't you?
Oh, yeah.
Classic country, too. I like classic country over the new stuff here. This was a big old honking hit, Markus, and they stood by Jake Moody when he needed it most. So thank you, Young Tony, for this vibe. All right, John, we appreciate it. After all the receiver questions, you're done, and now we look forward to the good stuff on Saturday. I know Tuesday's a tough day, but it is part of the process, and then you guys kind of get set and get ready to go. So appreciate it, and good luck to Stanford on Saturday, too.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Hey, thank you.